All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Triple Play. Please remember to
like and subscribe.
like and subscribe. That's right. And if you do, we might just have them what? A signed ball.
Yeah.
We're going to have some signed balls.
Yeah. We'll get you some stuff. Just sign up and wait, and we'll get you some stuff.
Well, and we got a lot of cool things going on. And with that, don't forget to check in with our man, Andy McCollum with Resource One. If you have any financial planning needs, he is the man to call. His number is 636-458-1798. And on top of that, if you have any website tech needs, make sure you give CS Design. They did our intro, outro, the soon-to-coming website, and their number is, we have Chris in house even, but their number is 573-436-3717. And you guys can check them out and make sure to let them know that you listen to our podcast so they know that we sent you. All that said, we are excited about today's episode. We're gonna have Trayce on here in just a second, and when we do, it's gonna be the wonderful life of Trayce.
That's right.
Trayce Thompson.
Yeah.
So, and you and him, you guys have gone back a while, haven't you?
Yeah. So I knew Trayce when he was with the White Sox originally. We did some instructs, end of season training. The White Sox and the Dodgers share a spring training facility, so. Yeah, it's been going on probably 10 plus years I've known him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And he was really an up-and-coming player for a long time, and then you mentioned he got some back issues, and now he seems like, as he says, he's been clawing his way back.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, that's I think he's going to have a big year. I've been watching his swing during the World Baseball Classic, and he's looking really good right now. I mean, he's dialed. You can tell when a player's dialed in. He's had several great hits, key hits in games. Team Britain's got to be happy to have him on their team for a leadership point of view, but also for that bat. He's looking really, really good.
Super athletic, super good head on his shoulders. I mean, when he talks about fighting and clawing back, like he was, like you talked about, he was going to be a solid guy that had a chance to play every day, and then he hurt his back real bad. It's been a few years since he's gotten a chance to come back, but you listen to him talk, you'll find out how he was able to just persevere. He's very level-headed, very goal-oriented, so he doesn't let things distract him.
Well, with that said, we'll be right back with him on. Should we get going on the wonderful life of Trayce Thompson?
We titled this The Wonderful Life of Trayce Thompson. Because you're wonderful.
That's right.
Yeah. So, Trayce, you're in the WBC now, right? First go-around. What are your thoughts? First game, opening game, you're running on the field. What are you thinking?
Man, the routine of everything is kind of crazy, especially in these pool plays. I've heard in the next round it gets better, and you know how a major league or a normal game schedule or normal day looks like for a game day. Like, game was at 7. We weren't allowed to be there till like 3:30 or 4 o'clock.
Wow.
And for me, that's like nightmare.
Yes.
So it was just kind of hectic to start. But once you get out to the game, man, the atmosphere, especially starting with USA, couldn't really ask for much better. And in Arizona at Chase Field, a lot of fans showed up, so it was pretty cool. And like we were talking about earlier, it definitely beats spring training, in my opinion. I think there's a time and place for spring training for sure. I've always struggled in spring training too, so I don't know if it's just the environment or what have you. You know, last year I got 2 hits in spring training, then I went out, had the hottest start of my career, so I don't know what it is, but yeah, the games have been a lot more fun. The last couple of days, against Canada, that game against Canada was tough for us, but and then yesterday against Colombia was a fun game, but it's been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, and obviously, well, maybe not obvious to everybody else, but you're on Great Britain's team. Tell us how you got to be on that team, and then once we've arrived at how you became a Great Britain player, talk to us about your uniforms, but start with how you got in Great Britain.
Scott's big on his uniform thing.
Well,
He's curious about it.
I can't, and I know Trayce, and I know he has an opinion on their uniforms.
Honestly, well, I'll talk about the affiliation first, but my dad is from the Bahamas. He's born and raised in the Bahamas, lived there up until he was a junior in high school, and went to high school in Miami, then went to Minnesota, University of Minnesota for college. But he's from the Bahamas. He's Bahamian, one of 7 kids, so got a lot of cousins, aunts, and uncles that all still live in the Bahamas. And so the Bahamas is a commonwealth of the UK, and so all the Bahamians, there's probably 8 or 9 Bahamians on this team, and so it's been pretty cool to kind of connect with them and to connect with the rest of the guys with ties to the UK, obviously. But for me personally, to connect with other Bahamians has been really special because the Bahamas hasn't been known as a baseball country, but recently there's been a lot of talent to come out of the Bahamas, so it's been kind of an exciting time to be a Bahamian baseball player. And so I'm sure this team in 3 years, 4 years, or even in 8 years, there's going to be a ton of Bahamians, and it's going to be really cool for the country of the Bahamas. As far as the jerseys, I never thought that much of it. Maybe it's just because I was so focused on like playing the game. And then my phone was kind of blowing up about how brutal our jerseys were. I saw that our pitcher, the T fell off his jersey yesterday. You know, I don't mind the jerseys. I'm sure that they could have gone a little wilder with them. Like I look at the Puerto Rico team and the Dominican and the Venezuelan team, and they're kind of I think Colombia has some sweet jerseys, but and Mexico Mexico probably has my favorite jerseys, honestly. But yeah, I hadn't thought. Yeah, I hadn't thought much of it. This is their first year, so give them a mulligan. Maybe in 3 years or 4 years, whatever the next one is, they'll come with some better stuff for you, Slyke.
There you go.
Well, just make a uniform where the stickers don't fall off. You know what I mean? Like that's all we're asking. That's all we're asking.
Yeah, I mean, I would be more hard pressed on them had we had the schedule. I'm telling you, the scheduling is crazy, man. It's crazy. Like tonight, we're not going to be able to get in there until this game's over. This playing right now, and so it's just weird days. I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Trayce, that's very kind of you. That's very British of you. But they've had 4 years. They've known about this tournament for 4 years.
That's all they got to do.
They only qualified they only qualified either this fall or the previous fall. So
all right. Well, I
1 year
again.
Well,
I appreciate you sticking up for your team, but their uniforms stink. Okay, they've had plenty of time for that not to be the case.
All right, I've got a question for Trayce.
All right.
This is an important question. Being a St. Louisan, your first at bat, I was watching it. You go yard on my boy Adam Wainwright. How did that feel, and how did it feel to have the crown and be the first one to wear that with that cape?
Yeah, that thing's sweet.
I had no idea that was a thing.
Seriously?
They just kind of ambushed me with that. I didn't know what was going on. I was just kind of like, we're playing against the Monstars to open up the tournament, and we get on the board early. The crowd goes quiet. I just, Slyke knows me. I'm not one to get. I'll have my moments where I get fired up, but I wanted to show those young guys and these young guys that are on this team, guys that haven't been in the big leagues, like, hey man, we can compete with these guys. Like, let's just compete. Like, we're not backing down. Like, kind of like keep your cool. And I'm getting close to the dugout, and I see they want to crown me, and then I see a cape and a sword, and I'm like, what is going on right now? But I know that the young guys are having a fun time with it, and I'm sure social media is blowing up with it. But yeah, it was I don't know. He just left a curveball right there. Wayno's obviously had an amazing career. I remember watching him buckle Beltran in the NLCS, I think it was.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember the year. It had to be like 06 or something like that. But I mean, he's awesome, man. I have a ton of respect for him as a human being and as a player and as a competitor. And he's still a really good pitcher. So this is the first time. I think I maybe faced him one other time, maybe. But it was really kind of maybe my first few at bats off of him. So You have to put respect on everything because he can pitch. He just knows how to pitch, even though he doesn't have that overpowering stuff he used to. You still have to respect his fastball because he knows what to do with it. And he just kind of left the curveball right there. And I've been kind of in spring training. It's like he knows how it works. You're always kind of tweaking and searching and this and that. And so I've been going through that. And so to kind of put a couple good swings on some balls the last few days has felt better.
Yeah, you've looked really good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you just said, spring training's about getting ready. It's really easy to get into numbers. It's really easy to get into all these things. But, yeah, if you hit a ball over the fence, it's usually a good swing. So
That was a great
yeah.
swing.
I really liked, more than the home run, that line drive you hit up the middle on the off-speed pitch.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good sign. When you start seeing guys staying off speed like that, I think you can be confident that you're.
Well, and
you're
with the
heading in
shift
right
going,
direction,
yeah. With the shift going, though, you're going to see more nice, drives up there between third and second. So.
Yeah, I mean, for 100 years, a line drive up the middle was a hit, and the last I don't know 4 or 5 years, it's been pretty much an automatic out, and so it'll be cool to see it come back. I mean, you think like I think about being a kid in Little League, and every coach tells you hit the ball up the middle, because there's nobody there, and so it's just and Slyke knows you get in the off season, you're hitting in the cage, especially if you don't have these big nice facilities that a lot of kids have now. You're hitting in this cage, and you want to see that ball go right through you want that backspin ball line drive right up the middle, and so the last few years that's an out, so it'll be cool to see it kind of become back to a positive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned something there about playing ball when you were younger. Have you always played baseball? Because I know you're from a basketball family. Your brother's kind of made a name for himself, and your dad obviously part of a great dynasty. So how did you get into baseball?
I mean, honestly, I think I know we're a basketball family, but I think when we were kids, it was just like we're just a sports family because we did everything growing up.
Awesome.
And my dad never pushed us towards anything. Where we grew up in Portland, Oregon, and everybody did everything. And so, I went from that football season to basketball season to baseball season, and then repeat in the summer. So it was an awesome childhood. We played soccer before we started playing football when we were like 7 or 8, and so we literally did everything. And my dad got us into golf when we were pretty young too, and so we had a ton of interest, not just in sports, but just being outside. We were outdoors kids, and we just loved being outside. But baseball was, ever since I played t-ball, baseball's always seemed to kind of be my one love. And it was always synonymous, no matter what I did. Whether we were in football season or basketball season, I would come home and go grab my bats. Like, I love playing football. I love playing basketball. I still love throwing the football around, or still love going to shoot and stuff. But when I was a kid, I always seemed to come home and I always gravitate towards my bats and want to go swing in the mirror or go outside and play wiffle ball or do something. And so it's been my biggest passion since I can remember. And grew up a huge Mariners fan, obviously in the Northwest, and those guys had a huge impact on my childhood too, as well. And so. But yeah, I credit my parents for not pushing us towards any, not just any sport specifically, but towards sports in general. They just brought us around. I was always around my oldest brother, and they just kind of let us choose our own path.
Am I remembering this right? Your mom's athletic as well, right? Or am I making that?
Yeah, she played. Yeah, she did track and volleyball, and then college just volleyball. And so she's always been, the sports mom, and she's not going to be the mom that's yelling at the games or anything like that. But she's always, if I needed a new bat, my dad's not taking me. My mom's taking me. If I needed a new glove, my mom's going to ask the coach questions about the glove or something like that. If we wanted new sneakers, my mom's the one that knows the plug at Foot Locker or something like that. So, or at Nike down the street, grow up in Portland. And so, my mom, she was everything to us.
Wow. So is that a way that you kind of connected with Scott, is having a multi-generational family? I mean, Scott's dad, did really well, obviously, and your dad did really well. Is that something you guys kind of connected over? I'm just curious.
You know, I my first remembrance of Scott was in instructional league when he had the handlebar mustache and this giant leg kick, and then the next year, I think I was in major league camp, or maybe I was backing up a major league game, and he was in major league camp, and he had this huge year in Double A. But my first remembrance of him was in instructional league, just as like a Dodgers player. You know, at the time, the only thing you really had was Baseball America, and so if you weren't listed as one of those top guys, I remember D. Gordon was the top guy, and there's a few other guys, but I remember hearing Slyke's name because he was drafted. I think my oldest brother, Slyke, were you 05
Yeah.
high school?
Yeah.
I remember because that was a huge draft class because with Justin Upton and McCutcheon and those guys, and I remember seeing Slyke's name to the Dodgers because we lived in Southern California. But my first remembrance of him was really seeing him and meeting with him and playing with him and instructionally when I was really young. I probably didn't say a word. And I was just kind of in awe of him and Kyle Russell and D. Gordon and everything. But I remember him in spring training the next couple of years in big league camp. Then he got to the big leagues. And then he was this really good player for the Dodgers. And I just remember he was always funny. His sense of, I love comedy, and his sense of humor was always something that attracted not just me, but everybody. Everybody loves Slyke. I'm sure if you ask anybody that came through the Dodgers from 2012 or 2011 till 2017, they'd say Scott's one of their favorite teammates they've ever had. And so it's no different for me. Slyke's my guy. And, I'm sure his upbringing was somewhat similar to mine. I think he was around more. I think his dad was still an active player that he could remember. Like my dad retired when I was 1 or when I was 2, and so I don't remember him as a player, but I definitely remember going to games with him as a broadcaster and stuff. But growing up in the game, I'm sure we have similar mentalities and heartbeats when it comes to sports and stuff, and so that's something that we've always kind of like an unspoken bond that him and I have. But his sense of humor, man, just him as a human being, has always drawn us together, in my opinion.
Well said. So
I
Hotfoot,
appreciate all that.
was he a part of Hot? Were you a part of Hotfoot, by the way?
Part of what?
Nah, you were on. I think you might have been hurt when I was getting hot-footed. There was like a month in 2014 when I was getting pranked literally like every other day. And
No, I was a White Sox man.
yeah. Well, so instructional league, that is, I mean, anybody you go to instructional league, it's like it almost feels like punishment. Obviously it's not. We're all there to get better, but when you're in these instructional league games, it's like anything to make it feel like this isn't the worst 3 hours of my life. 105 degrees, open dugouts. So the fact, I'm glad I can make those games a little bit better. Honestly, when I showed up to the game, my whole goal was just to make it fun for everybody. Any way I could, yelling, anything. Were you the one that? There's a story. The one story. So like you were telling me about the first time you met in Instructs. There's a guy I played with in Instructs, and I'll always remember hearing the first time that we kind of connected was that we were on instructional's backfield. Like on the backfields in instructional league, and he was on the field to the side of us. And we were doing outfield drills, and they were doing outfield drills. And he overheard the coach just said, like, he was getting frustrated. So like, I don't care where you throw it, I don't care how you throw it, but I need to hear you. So me being a smart ass, got the fly ball and turned and just chucked it over the center field wall onto the other field and said, "Coming home!" And so this guy's first memory is me being a smart ass, yelling, "Coming home," throwing it in the opposite field, making fun of a coach.
That's great.
I'm glad that
wasn't my.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't me. That wasn't me.
That's awesome.
So a little bit more of a mainstay on the Dodgers this year, I presume. If all things go like I think they will. You get to hear your brother talk a lot about you on the media. Do you think that you're going to incorporate some some back and forth this year through the media that you can kind of start poking your brother a little bit. Is that on your horizon? Have you thought about that? Maybe I'm bringing this up for you so you can do some future planning.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I feel like my sense of humor kind of, like I'm pretty sarcastic, and sometimes I think it flies right over Clay's head. So,
That might make it funnier.
and so I might say something funny, hopefully that he hears it, and then maybe I'm sure he hears it. I'm sure someone says something to him. He's just like, you know. But
He's
But
pretty funny, right? He's got a sense of humor.
well,
Super
he is
dry, though,
funny.
maybe?
He doesn't necessarily, and he's funnier than he comes off. But I think, I just think that I don't know. I know he gets a little cliche-ish when he starts to talk about me and my dad and Mikey and my mom in the media, and Rocco even, and so yeah, I don't know. I'm sure when we play the Giants, there's always a thing.
Yeah.
Or whenever they're in LA in the summer, because they come down a lot, and so we'll see. But I'm sure there's always something. I mean, he came to our game against the Giants in LA last summer, and they acted like it was the biggest deal in the world. And I remember Steph came to a game, and I got a hit, and the media was at my locker afterwards. I literally pinch hit and got a hit, and they wanted to talk to me about Steph being there to watch me hit. I'm like, there's nothing to talk about here. I just got a hit, and Steph is here. What? Okay, the big deal. You know,
Yeah, that has to be a little bit annoying,
I'm sure
I imagine.
Whenever Clay's there, they make a deal of it, and I get it. But at the same time, it's like, what is there, more to say exactly?
Yeah. So if they win, if Golden State wins, and then the Dodgers win, who gets bragging rights at the house, though?
I think us as a family. I don't think that there's a.
Well, that's
I don't
true.
think that it's
Exactly.
I don't think it's a brother versus brother thing. I think it's Thompson's versus everybody thing. But no, I mean, we're each other's biggest fans. I want him to. It's funny how people. I don't know if it's an American culture or what, but man, people heckle me about my brother. I'm like, thank you. Like, you don't think I want him to be a Hall of Famer? You don't think I want him to, make the All-Star teams and win as many rings as possible? Like, hell yeah, I do. Like, that's my brother, man. Like, I've been with him since I was born. So, it really doesn't make sense to me. Like, the more I think about it, I'm like, man, maybe they would be jealous of their brother if that was their brother. But for me, no, not at all. Like, I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of Mikey for what he's done, him making it to the NBA, and now he's back in the NBA working as a coach. And so if that were to come true, and hopefully this is the year, it would be a pretty cool thing. I know that we would all be pulling for each other in every corner. There would be no bragging rights. The only bragging there is like FIFA or golf or anything like that. It's not when it comes to our job. Yeah. Pool basketball is a big one.
Well, I'll tell you this: you look really good in the World Baseball.
Ping pong's a slaughter. They can't beat me in ping pong. But yeah, when it comes to baseball, basketball, we're all on the same team.
I can slaughter you in ping pong.
Uh-oh. Maybe if he comes through with the Dodgers, we'll have to put a ping pong table.
It's not even really a discussion. It's official. I beat Trayce Thompson in the ping pong world championship.
Yeah.
Right? Am I getting that story right?
I don't. I not that I remember. The only hard challenges in the Dodgers clubhouse I remember were Austin Barnes and Kirsch. Barnes has that.
I thought you were on Clayton's team one year in the locker room tournament. That's not true.
I refuse to play.
From your memory. We're just gonna pretend that never happened.
No, I've done one tournament. It was in 2018, and I was with Walker Buehler.
Okay.
And we won.
All right.
Larry?
So that's that.
Maybe you were just there. Maybe I imagined you playing.
Maybe we need to settle this when he comes through with the Dodgers. We'll have to put out a ping pong table and let the two of you guys go.
Is this regulation size?
Well, we can get
I
one.
got a ping pong table.
Yeah.
I got a ping pong table.
We could
We
do
can make
that.
that. We can make that work.
I have a signed ping pong table from the 2015 Dodgers. Everybody on the team signed this ping pong table at the Kershaw Challenge ping pong tournament at the auction. I won.
That's pretty
it.
sweet.
I didn't mean to win it, but I won it.
That's really cool.
So now, yeah, it's a really cool item. I'm glad I got it.
So Trayce, were you a little disappointed that Kirsch pulled out from Team USA so you could take him deep instead of Wainwright?
Ooh, sad.
Yeah, I mean, if there was anybody to take deep, it's definitely Clayton. So if I could, perfect world, if I could flip flop the two, yeah, for sure. But I was upset for him. I know he was looking forward to it. Who knows if he's going to get this opportunity again? Just where he's at in his career, and it's a fun thing, and I'm sure the experience is a lot different playing for Team USA, and especially when you're Clayton Kershaw. So I know that he would have enjoyed the competition and just kind of the higher stakes games, because I know he's not a big spring training guy as well. But if anything, I'm more like empathize with him that he had to miss out, because I think he was looking forward to it, and there's not a more fun person to compete against, and he brings out the best in his opponents than him, and so yeah, I wish we could have got a chance to face him, but now, I mean, I'm hoping he has a perfectly healthy year and makes 30 starts or whatever it is, because I do enjoy our times that we face each other in live batting practices and stuff, but that also means that he's coming off an injury. So hopefully this year we're done and I don't have to face him again. But last year, he got hurt and we faced each other quite a bit, and it's always really fun. I enjoy it a lot, even though I don't have a lot of success off him. It's always just fun to he's just a fun guy to compete against in anything. And so, but yeah, for him personally, I was sad for him that he couldn't do it.
So what's a successful year for you this year look like? Have you thought about have you set your own expectations, what you want to accomplish this year?
Honestly, I'm not a big numbers guy. For me, it's just more so about focus and not giving away opportunities. Because I've had to kind of scratch and claw my way back to the major leagues, and really not take any shortcuts, and kind of be able to look myself in the mirror and know that I did everything I could, and but at the same time having that conviction and belief that I can do it. And so for me, it's just going in every day prepared, and with as much conviction and confidence as I could ever have, and just kind of not giving away anything, not giving away a pitch, and just going out there and competing. And because I know I can do it, I know I can contribute to this team in a big way. It's just for me, it's more so about focus and focus and conviction, really. And so for me, I'm just trying to prepare each day, and like I said, not give away a moment or not give away an opportunity, and just try to make the most of every single day, because it's a really long season. 6 months, 7 months is a really long time. If you just take it one day at a time, things, and truly focus just one moment, one day at a time, and stay present, things will pretty much take care of themselves.
Yeah, I'd imagine you've gotten better at that over time. Routine, thought process, things that you think. So that's cool. Keep getting better at it.
Yeah, we want to see good things happen. So we're cheering for you, even from St. Louis.
What do you got today? You got a big game tonight. Is that right?
We got Mexico tonight. I believe Taiwan Walker's pitching. But yeah, we got Mexico tonight. They're obviously one of the better teams in this tournament, so it'll be a fun night. Hopefully there's a lot of fans there. I know Mexico's had a pretty big draw every night that they've played, so yeah, hopefully it'll be a good environment and it'll be fun.
Love it.
They killed Team USA the other night.
Mm-hmm.
They did really good.
They did. That was crazy, because we played before them, and you could see when we were leaving the stadium, you could see everyone, like the streets were packed and stuff, and so to see Chase Field, packed from those seats behind home plate all the way to the top of the stadium was pretty cool. I don't know if I've seen Chase Field like that since like 2001 when they were in the World Series. So that was pretty sweet. I'm sure it was really loud. You know, this is obviously a very strong Mexican American community, and so I think it was pretty mixed. Like the crowd, I bet it was 50-50, if not like even a little bit more Mexico fans. So it's kind of a cool atmosphere. I almost just wanted to stay for a couple innings, but yeah, it was a cool thing. It was cool to see Austin out there, and it's cool for them to win, obviously.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
Any words of wisdom for me on my podcast?
I've got nothing, man. You know, you don't need any wisdom. You're as wise. If anything, I need wisdom from you. Although I'm not. I'll see you for this ping pong match. That's all I'm going to say. I'll see you for this ping pong match.
Yeah, we need to do that, and we can bring him some of those Kodiak.
Oh yeah, we'll get you. So I don't know if we'll have this on the thing, but you were eating some cereal, some Kodiak cereal. We'll have the good stuff. We'll have the real good stuff, Kodiak. We'll have all the top picks for you when you come in town, St. Louis.
Absolutely.
We'll set up a little ping pong, a little soiree. We'll get it going.
Here we go. I'll be ready.
Thanks for stopping by, Trayce.
Yes, thank you so much. We
Hey,
appreciate
thank you,
your
guys.
time.
Swing
Yeah.
strikes, take the balls.
That's a good plan.
All right, man. Thanks for stopping by. See you, buddy.
See ya.
Hey, thanks for joining us for this episode. We hope you enjoyed Trayce, and we know you did because he's always great to have on. So enjoy that. And don't forget to
Like and subscribe.
that's all we're asking is like and
You don't even have
subscribe.
to listen. Just like and subscribe. No, you can listen. You can listen.
So no, but seriously, we do appreciate it. We've been hitting. We've gotten over 3,000 subscribers, and we continue to grow each and every day. And we are thankful and blessed that you guys keep sharing the episodes, that you're letting us know a lot of good feedback. We've been getting a lot of good feedback lately, so we appreciate that very, very much. And with that said, we will catch you next time. Gonna do your little thing. Don't forget. All right.
You're safe.